Alright YouTube, so we're back, we're talking about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today we have several kind of follow-ups to things we talked about lately, and one of them, I don't want to have to do it, but I gotta do it for the sake of my channel. But we'll get there when we get there. The first thing we're going to talk about, and I said recently that I didn't want to do any more trademark-related videos unless it pertained to FF7 or Remake, and that's what this is here. We have the Ever Crisis trademark has officially been filed in the US. And also the Isle Dragon Roars, whatever the hell that thing is also been filed in the US and Europe. And I think it was already filed in Australia when we talked about it the other day. But of course, us here, we're more so focused on the Ever Crisis trademark because that is something related to FF7. Remains to be seen what it is. But it definitely seems like Square Enix is gearing up for some big reveals, I would think, sometime within 2021. They have just these trademarks that are flying everywhere, all across the world. Every couple days, you see a new trademark pop up somewhere, or an older trademark popping up in a different country where it's being trademarked at. Like, they're doing something, man. Some big reveals eventually. Anyways, moving on to the next follow-up that I want to do, and with yesterday's video, we talked about the PS5 version of Remake only having the DLC. Now, within that video, I did mention a couple times that the PS4 players could still get DLC, but I should have elaborated on that more, because something I've seen people talk about is the possibility of, like, the PS5 version of Remake just coming with the DLC built in. So, for example, if you buy Remake on the PS5, like, maybe the DLC is just already packaged with it. Like, it's just a part of the price tag, the 60, 70 bucks, whatever it costs. And then for us PS4 players, maybe we just have to buy the DLC outright for the 20, 30, 40 bucks, whatever it's going to be. And to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no problem having to buy the DLC and the PS5 players technically getting it for free. It's just coming with the price tag of their game. That does not bother me in the slightest. I just don't want it to be locked to PS5. That's my biggest concern and worry here. And since I made that video, a lot of people in the comments were saying that they don't think that that'll happen, that Square Enix wouldn't lock it, behind the PS5, and that's certainly what I'm hoping for. But they do have a history of trying to get you to rebuy their games. They did it with, like, some of the examples people have used in the last day or so that I've seen is, like, Dragon Quest XI and Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. Like, those had initial versions that came out exclusive on the PS4, and then, like, the games came out on other platforms with additional features that the initial PS4 version, like, never got or eventually got down the road with, like, an update or something like that. It's not exactly a one-to-one comparison of what we're talking about here, but it's an example of Square Enix trying to get you to rebuy the game that you already spent money on. So really, given their track record, it wouldn't be surprising at all if they were to lock content behind the PS5 version to try to get you to buy that version. Like, this is the only way you can play this additional story content for FF7 Remake. I'm not saying it's a smart business decision on their end, because they're going to burn a lot of fans if they do something like that. I'm just saying it's a possibility. But what I'm hoping for, like we talked about previously, is that it's just packaged with the PS5 version. That's your incentive to buy it on PS5. It's a part of the price tag of the game if you just want to buy the game again. And then the PS4 players just have to buy the DLC separate. I hope to God, and this is even if there is a DLC, which we're just about to get into. So the follow-up that I don't want to do, but I have to do for the sake of the channel, is that the other day when Audrey did her translation of Toriyama's video, it was, to say the least, like, wildly misleading and not exactly accurate at all. So Gematsu did an indirect tweet about Audrey, but obviously they didn't mention her or tag her, talking about how Toriyama's saying that he's going to show some stuff for Remake at this event, like some brand new stuff, is inaccurate. We're just going to read over the translation really quickly. And this is what Toriyama says in the video. "Hello, I'm Motomu Toriyama, the co-director of Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're finally going to hold the Orchestra Concert this weekend. Not only will there be songs from the original game, but many new songs were also written for Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I'm looking forward to the orchestra playing those. There will be the performance, of course, but there's also a bonus program in which I participate and talk a little bit about Final Fantasy VII Remake, which you'll only be able to hear in the program. So it'd be much appreciated if you tune into that as well. It'll be held online, so let's keep the excitement going by sending each other comments. I hope we have a good time together." So the phrase, "I'll participate and talk a little bit about Final Fantasy VII Remake, which you'll only be able to hear in the program," is vastly different from, "There will be a few things about FF7R that will be revealed only during this concert." Like, what's weird too is Audrey ended up doing a follow-up tweet some hours later, about an hour or so after the Gematsu tweet, by the way, to clarify that, oh wait, if I did a more literal translation, it would sound like this. And this is part of why I didn't want to have to do this, but I need to do it, because it feels like I'm attacking her, and I'm trying not to come across that way, because that's not what this is at all, but it's just like, she definitely, with the initial tweet, like, garnered a lot of hype for people thinking that there was going to be new information revealed for Remake, even with, like, the way she worded her tweet, with, like, the eye emoji and stuff like that, to kind of insinuate, like, what are they going to talk about, what are they going to show here, what's going to be revealed, like, that's what garnered the hype from the community. It wasn't our own interpretation, it's what she translated it to be. And according to other people who speak and understand Japanese, this may not be anything. Like, they might still have some big reveals here. That is obviously a possibility, but that's not exactly what Toriyama was saying in his video. And since Audrey seems to translate things kind of at her discretion instead of doing, like, the literal translations, which is what you think most people would do, it has to make you wonder, with her past translations, how accurate those have ever been. I think of all the translations she's done in the past for, like, the Remake Ultimania, the Material Ultimania, just the dev interviews and things like that, and all the theories that have spun off from her translations, and what if it's those aren't exactly accurate, so a lot of those theories and things and our discussions that we have are just kind of pointless. I can't speak for that, I can't vouch for that, I don't understand a goddamn thing about Japanese, so I have no idea. But it's just something I was thinking of because of this. And again, I don't want to come across as an asshole, like I'm attacking her. I'm very appreciative for what she does. What she does for free and in her free time. That being said, however, these translations she's been doing for the past year or more that we've been looking at have grown her a lot on social media, and she's become kind of a pillar within this community. It's somebody a lot of people look to for info. I just hope going forward she's a little more accurate with it. Now, that all behind us, the orchestra event happening this weekend on Saturday. I do still think there's going to be something there. It's just that if we had the Gematsu translation the other day when we made that video, it would have been a little, the hype would have been a little subsided. There'd be just a little less hype. We'd still be hyped up for new content for Remake, obviously, but it wouldn't have been as much as it was within that video. With all the devs making these video packages and hyping up the orchestra event, they gotta be showing something, even if it is just the PS5 port or maybe the game coming to other platforms in general. They're going to be showing something, I think, and hopefully if there is story content or DLC that gets revealed at this event, it's for everything and not just the PS5. Anyways, dudes, that's pretty much the video. Just want to give you guys a couple updates today. I'd say when it comes to this orchestra event, if you're hyped for it, you can still remain hyped, but maybe just keep that hype in check just a little bit, just in case. Because there may be something big revealed, and it may be nothing at all. Alright then, my dudes, that is the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for you guys only once every day with more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter, dashingdavidbusiness. I'm my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain, or leave it like Cobain.